I think what the Bears talked about a lot this week with Dalvin Cook is he's got that big play potential, so they've got to be swarming to the football. There's got to be, the old cliche, 11 hats to the ball every time that he touches it. I'll say this, though, about the Bears' defense. They are very hard to run outside against. It's very difficult to do any sort of pitches, any sort of jet sweeps, any sort of RPO action that bounces outside the tackles, because they are just so fast, and their linebackers are so fast. And then there's Khalil Mack, who basically disrupts everything.
Thank you, John Gruden.
Yeah, honestly, and it's funny because I was talking to Chuck Pagano about Mack for a story we're doing next week when the Bears go to London to face the Raiders, Mack's old team. And the Bears say that based on their in-house analytics, that Khalil Mack is directly impacting 80% of the snaps that he's on the field. I mean,
I believe it.
Might not get the tackle, might not get the sack, but he is doing something that directly influences the outcome of a play in a positive way for the Bears 80% of the time. That's remarkable. So you lean on him a lot, not just in rushing the quarterback, but also in run defense. So, yeah, I mean, Dalvin Cook is obviously a major concern for them, and it probably comes down to, which team runs the ball better on Sunday probably wins.
I would agree with that. And Khalil Mack, as you said, there are a lot of things that John Gruden has done over his career.
This one, sending him to the NFC North, has made Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford, and Kirk Cousins' life pretty miserable. So Vic Fangio is now in Denver, the head coach there. Chuck Pagano has taken over the reins as a defensive coordinator, and they don't look like they missed a beat. What makes this defense so special? Is it the players? Is it the speed? What is it?
I just think they have an incredible combination of athleticism and speed, and I think it really kind of goes across the board. I mean, you've got the really great pass rusher like Khalil Mack. Akeem Hicks is a very good pass rusher. You find ways to get to the quarterback. You've got very competent linebackers. Danny Trevathan is solid. Roquan Smith, talk about a guy that's fast and athletic. He's an emerging star, the first-round pick last year out of Georgia. Leonard Floyd's having another former top 10 pick. He's having a very good start to his year. Now, he always gets injured, it seems like, so you have to keep an eye on that going forward. But, I mean, he's not the biggest guy, but he's long, he's tall, he's fast. Again, he's very athletic. So when the quarterback is constantly under duress, then you've got ball hawks in the secondary like Eddie Jackson. Kyle Fuller had 7 picks last year. Even Prince Amukamara, who's a very good player, don't get me wrong. But, if you look at his career from New York to Jacksonville to early in Chicago, he was just never a guy that took the ball away a ton. Didn't have a ton of interceptions. Right. He had picks last year. They're playmakers that can get to the quarterback. And when you can lead the NFL in takeaways and interceptions, and you're so high up there in stats, that's very tough for any offense to overcome. So, I mean, Minnesota has their work cut out for them. And if they can't run on Sunday and they put the ball in Kirk Cousins' hands, I think that's a big edge to the Bears.
Which is what I think the Bears want to do. And we're here with Jeff Dickerson from ESPN. Give us some matchups to look out for in this game. I think everyone is kind of looking at these two quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins has been, very underwhelming so far this season. Trubisky just had a great game Monday night, but the first two he struggled. Other than the quarterback position, what other matchups are you looking out for on Sunday?
Yeah, well, and I honestly, real quickly with the quarterback, I think they're very similar, just in the age is different. Like, I think that Cousins sees the field a lot better than Trubisky. He doesn't run nearly as well.
No.
And it's vice versa for Mitch. And I just think that, I don't want to say they're both suspects, but I mean, they are.
They are.
They are suspects. So again, I think if you're Matt Nagy, if you're the Vikings, you want to try to take the ball out of the quarterback's hands as much as possible and set them up and put them in positions to succeed. I think the quarterback head-to-head matchup is huge. Again, we talked about being able to stop the run. And, honestly, in a game like this, with two great defenses, it could come down to who makes the last field goal. And wouldn't that be funny with two franchises all off season looking for their field goal kicker. And Eddie Pinheiro of the Bears is still hurt. You know, he did not practice on Friday. That was a little more precautionary, but he's questionable on the report. He has a pinched nerve in his right knee. He kicked field goals against Washington in week 3, but did not handle kickoff.
He was gimpy after when he made that kick, too.
He was. And it's funny, too, is he actually only missed one kick that whole game. And I was on the field real early at FedEx Field watching him. He made every kick in warm-ups. It was a labor. He had to go through. It was painful. Made every kick, and the one kick he missed was the field goal he missed in the game. So they're watching him very closely. So really, again, when it comes down to defense and quarterback plays a little shaky, if you win the special teams matchup and you have a big return here or there, or you make a big field goal, that could be big. And one more player to watch is I know with Cordero Patterson, the Bears.
We know him.
Keep getting him more and more involved against one of his former teams. They tried a little more last game to get the ball in his hands. He's a real explosive, big play guy. Doesn't do one thing particularly well, as everyone knows. But he's the guy I think that if the Vikings lose him, that could be a way the Bears get a big play on Sunday.
And we're here with Jeff Dickerson from ESPN. Yes, listen, with Cordero Patterson, and I think you hit it on the head, he doesn't do anything particularly great. Listen, he's a great, actually, kick return. Let me take that back. But you never question his effort. He can't run a route to save his life, but if you give him the ball, you know you're getting everything that he has inside him. He's a tough runner. Let's go to the injury report really quickly. I know you kind of touched up on a few names, but reading the report from a couple days ago, Bobby Massey, what's going on with him? He was sick, correct?
He had vertigo symptoms. So
he had vertigo.
Dizzy.
Okay.
But he is fine. He has had full participation all week, and the Bears say he will play on Sunday.
Taylor Gabriel.
He's out with a concussion. That's a big loss for the Bears because he had 3 touchdowns against Washington. So look for Anthony Miller, 2nd-round pick from last year, and Javon Wynn, 7th-round pick from last year, to get themselves more involved in the passing game if there is any passing game to speak of with Trubisky as quarterback.
And you talked about Pinheiro. Pinheiro should play on Sunday, and then we talked about Akeem Hicks. That is a huge, huge game time decision, as you said, because he can cause a lot of havoc on that defensive front. Last thing before we let you go here, give me your X factors from each team. One that needs to step up, has to elevate their team to win this game.
I do think Anthony Miller for the Bears is going to have to do it. I think that, he was open on a big play against the Redskins, and him and Trubisky could not connect. Only had 1 reception. They felt like he ran his routes well and blocked well last Monday. But he's a guy that really is supposed to bring you those explosive plays. So I think he absolutely has to step up, and we'll see what the Vikings offensive line does, a little banged up against this great Bears defensive front. If the Bears win at the point of attack and if they in any way make Kirk Cousins, one-dimensional because they can't run the ball, I think the quarterback for the Vikings is going to take some big hits this weekend.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Great job. You can follow Jeff on Twitter at Dickerson ESPN. I really appreciate you carving out some time for me today, and enjoy the game on Sunday.
No, my pleasure. You enjoy the game, too.
And a big thanks to Jeff Dickerson for coming on the show, carving out some time for me. Always appreciate that. Okay, new segment. I've been thinking a lot about this over the last few days. Instead of doing the same old regular vanilla winners and losers from week 3, I decided to switch it up. Because I always can find someone that's whining in the media, whether that be a coach, a player, a GM, an owner, and I can always find someone that shined during the week. So here we go, new segment alert, week 3, whiners and shiners of this week. Here we go. We'll start with our whiner of the week, the guy that just kept on making excuses or is at the podium, he's making excuses, whatever. Maybe he didn't play through an injury. Whiner of the week, this one goes to Jalen Ramsey. Congratulations, the inaugural whiner of the week on the Strom Sports Show. Jalen Ramsey had the quote-unquote flu after a game, I think it was on Thursday night, didn't practice the whole week, and then he said a few days later that he had a sore back, and now he's leaving the team to fly to Nashville for the birth of his second child. Now, the child thing I understand, the whole flu spiel, really, and then after you have the flu, you have a sore back. Jalen Ramsey, you are my whiner of the week. What is a contract anymore? I mean, seriously, what is the point of signing these guys to contracts when at any time they can step away like Melvin Gordon did, or Jalen Ramsey's demanding a trade? If he doesn't get a trade, then obviously they're not going to play him. He's too big of a piece that he can screw up a lot of things. Jalen Ramsey, my whiner of the week. My goodness, what has happened to the integrity of a contract? That's the first thing that goes to my mind here. If you sign a contract, if someone signs me to a radio station, if someone signs me as an athlete, I'm going to play through my years and my salary. I mean, who started this trend where you can just all of a sudden say, you know what, I don't want to play anymore. You know what, I don't want to play for your city anymore. Like Anthony Davis, like now Jalen Ramsey. I mean, it's ridiculous now that we're doing this. I mean, come on. Honestly, what's the point of signing a contract if this is what can happen? And Jalen Ramsey, who whines and whines and whines, I want to play for a winning team, I want more money, all this kind of stuff. He rolls out the bang truck. Congratulations, Jalen Ramsey. You are my whiner of the week. Second whiner of the week winner goes to Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh gets absolutely annihilated in Madison, down 35-0 after 3. Could have been way worse, by the way. Jim Harbaugh, 2 weeks to prepare. Dud. Not prepared. Jonathan Taylor runs about 300 yards on your god-awful defense. And Jim Harbaugh has the audacity to go in his presser, and he goes, Michigan doesn't give me enough leverage and enough ability to recruit like these other schools. All right, Jim, really? I mean, really? That's what you're going to say after this game? That Michigan doesn't allow you to recruit to your fullest ability? Dude, you coached at Stanford, one of the best institutions in the country, and you had great players. You got Andrew Luck there. You had an amazing tenure there. You're telling me, and Michigan's a phenomenal school too, but don't tell me that Michigan restricts your recruiting ability. That is a bunch of nonsense, and you know what that is? A bunch of whining. Congratulations, Jalen Ramsey and Jim Harbaugh. You are my inaugural Whiners of the Week. Whiner of the Week. This one's going to be fun, and it's going to be easy to find it with the way this league is going. Okay, so let's segue. The Shiner of the Week. Let's go a little positive. Could I go to anyone else other than Daniel Jones living out here in New York? The dude throws for 336 yards, throws for 2 touchdowns, then he runs for 2, no interceptions. He scored on the final possession of the game, comes from behind 32, what was it, 28-10 at the end of the first half? And Jones is somehow the first player in Giants history with multiple throwing and rushing touchdowns in the same game. That is, you would think that someone would get that, but Daniel Jones is my shiner of the week. Hey, listen, the fact that a rookie comes into this type of environment, this type of game, and wills his team back, and you know the Giants' defense should get a little bit more credit than they deserve, because let's be honest, if the Giants' defense doesn't shut out or doesn't give up 3 points in the second half to the Bucs, we're not talking about this. So I thought their defense played very well. Daniel Jones, it looks like they've got something in him. It's only been one game, so let's not overreact. But for this week, Daniel Jones has to be my shiner of the week. He looked confident. He looked poised. He looked like kind of the same guy that we saw in preseason. I know a lot of people like to write off preseason and say, I don't know about preseason. I don't know what it means. But Daniel Jones stepped in, looked comfortable, looked confident, and gave this franchise and this offense some life, some juice. There's some excitement now around the league. And you know what it really, really hurts? It hurts the Jet fans. Because Jet fans are sitting there. They had Sam Darnold last year, and they still have him, but he's obviously has mono right now. But Jet fans a year ago were sitting there, even though they were losing, and they looked at the way they were losing and the way the Giants were losing and said, you know what? We got our quarterback. The Giants are stuck with Eli Manning. So now the Jet fans are salty that the Giant fans found their quarterback, supposedly. Here's the bad thing about Daniel Jones and the rest of the year. Saquon Barkley is hurt, so he loses a massive weapon of his, a guy that's going to open up a lot of things for him down the field, including Evan Ingram, including Sterling Shepard, and including Golden Tate when he comes back. For the meantime, Daniel Jones, congratulations. You are the inaugural Shiner of the Week. Week 3 of the NFL. And sometimes I'll do college football.